there, my name is Matt Wilhelmi, and I'm the owner of Strategic Voyages Business Consultants. And I'm also the author of Taboo Business Questions, What is Haunting Every Entrepreneur's Growth? And today I'm really excited because I get to be joined by my friend, Sarah Mitial of People Architectural Group. Hi, Sarah, how are you?
Hi there, how are you, Matt?
I'm doing well. Today I really wanted to dive into this topic. I've been looking forward to it. To give our viewers a little bit of a tease, I do want to say just really, quick off the bat, Sarah, you are a HR professional. You are somebody who works with a lot of business owners on their HR side of the company. And you've owned People Architectural Group for a little bit over 3 years now. And what a blessing it is for me to just have some time with you. Thanks for joining.
Absolutely, it's good to be here. For the last 3 years, 3.5 years, we've been helping organizations with their people issues, and which is the same thing that I've been doing over 20 years. So it's exciting to be here and to hear I'm excited to hear about your questions and about to have this conversation.
Yeah, so I'd like to set the stage a little bit because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page with what we're working on, how we're going to do this. And so today's episode is going to be about presenting this issue. There's a company that I've been working with that I know about and I'm familiar with some of the details of what's going on, and they need an HR expert. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, what's going on in the company, give you and our viewers a little bit more context. And then we're going to dive into some potential problems that they might face based on your experience. You can kind of, give that expertise. And then the last episode we're going to have together is going to talk about the solutions. That's going to be, Sarah's strategy. How would she advise this business in their HR world? But first, I definitely want to take a minute and just hear a little bit about your background. I'm sure you've seen a lot of different things. You've learned a lot. I'd love to hear more about your background and how Sarah got into the HR world.
Absolutely. I have always loved working with people. Right out of college, I joined an organization where I was within the business side of, supply chain, and kind of transitioned to HR. I started volunteering for HR until a role opened up. And I have a bachelor's in psychology and started with a master's in counseling. Kind of shift that to more of an HR position as I was getting deeper into understanding organizations and so on. I have held numerous positions within HR, all of them with increasing responsibility of just dealing with people issues. My company is called People Architectural Group. We don't orchestrate any buildings, but we help people stand taller. We help managers help people understand who they are, how do they come to the table, and how they can contribute to the organization they have decided to join. And so this is a love. I feel like this is something that I love to do. This is what I was called to do. And so I do it, and every day when I was started my business 3.5 years ago, I had to decide of what do I find most joy, what brings me a lot of joy, and bringing candidates into organization, helping them find what they do best is I love to do that. And once they are into a role that they want to be in, how do we continue to develop them? And so they continue to produce for their organization while they are growing. And I think this is where the training and development comes in. I hope I'm with my company for a very long time, continue to contribute to organization for a very long time to come. And so, yeah, so just a little bit about me.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. You mentioned the counseling background and the master's in counseling. I would guess that in your professional world these days, you tend to use some of those skills, right?
You know what? When you learn something, you can never take it away. It becomes part of who you are. And I think how I deal with people, how I deal with myself, how I deal with others. I think those are skill set, those strategies that I learned definitely comes in as I'm handling employee relations and so on and so forth. I'm not a professional counselor, and I don't go and counsel my employees to the, from a psychology perspective, but those things comes out no matter what. Showing empathy and so on and so forth. So absolutely, it shows up.
Yeah, I would bet that there's a little bit of empathy, or maybe a lot of bit of empathy that's needed when you're talking to clients, right? They're sensitive. If they're hiring you, there's a need in their business, in their HR world, and it's maybe a little embarrassing for them.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I don't want to admit to Sarah, I don't know what I'm doing. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about the company that we're presenting today, and so put it into a little context. I'll give you some details about the company, and feel free to ask questions if you want to kind of verify some things or clarify. And just to give everybody a little bit more background, this is something that I've been doing for a while. I've been in business consulting for a number of years now. And anytime I meet a business owner and work in their business, I see these different pieces of their business that need help. And I know I'm not the expert at all of them. And so Sarah, being one of these HR experts that that I'm referring to and being able to speak into these businesses, I bet you're going to see some things that you're going to want to talk about. So this business has been around for over 40 years. And anytime I think about a company that has that kind of a track run, they've been through some changes, right? This particular company has 2 owners, and the owners are in their 70s. They're grooming their son, one of the partner's sons, to take over the business. He's been working in the company for over 10 years. What the company does is in the service business. They provide a service to their clients. I don't really want to say too much more than that. It's not relevant necessarily. But they do have kind of 4 very distinct departments within their business. And we talked about this a little bit. They've got a finance department. They've got a sales department. They have an operations department. And then they have kind of the technicians. They've got the laborers. They've got the people kind of making the service, making the product, delivering the service. And I'm curious, thinking about this potential transition of leadership, that's where I really want to focus, because there's so many jobs that are at stake here. This isn't just about getting rich. This isn't just about, somebody's trying to make a bunch of money. They make a lot of money. That's not the point. The point is, how do we transition this great culture, this leadership that they're transitioning to this next generation? And maybe some of the things that you would advise. I think about terms like the stability of the team. I think about, are they positioned for growth? What's their mindset? Are they really trying to invest in the future? Are they doing a good job at it? And so given this kind of full picture of the business, I'm wondering if there's any clarifying questions you might have, or kind of where, you'd like to know a little bit more about this business.
So you mentioned 40 years. That is exciting,
Yeah.
to be keeping a company that's been in existence for 40 years, and this new leader must be very excited to take the baton on from his, whether it's a
Excited
family.
and a little nervous, if we're being honest, right?
Yeah. So if he's not nervous, then something is wrong, right? So that's good. So tell me a little bit more about you said there are, how many staff are there? Did you mention?
So there's about 40 employees,
40.
and they're kind of separated in the different departments.
Okay.
Most of the employees, about half of the company, are laborers. They're the ones really kind of driving the revenue of the company.
All right. Good. And when is this has there been a date for this transition?
Well, now we're getting into the nitty gritty. So a lot of times when a company says they're going to do a leadership transfer, there's like this big timeline. We announced it, and then it's like, well, we're still thinking about it. XYZ hasn't happened yet, so we're not really sure. And so there's this spectrum of time. And so this company is in that spectrum somewhere. The transition has been inferred in a lot of ways. It hasn't been formally announced, but everybody kind of knows it's coming.
Okay. I know that you mentioned that this person, the new leader, has been with the organization for what have been working within the organization. Um, do we have any data on how the staff, like the leadership is he part of the leadership team right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Sometimes when the son or the daughter is working in the business, they work their way up.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they are like the secretary, or maybe they're the delivery person, or however it works, but they get into the business one way, right?
Mm-hmm.
This particular person is a college graduate. Um, this particular person, the son, is in leadership, is running the company on the day to day, knows a lot about the financials, knows everybody by name in the company, is very, very dialed into the culture.
Okay, very good, very good. I think that is the fact that he or she is already into the organization, that kind of like solve it solve a lot of issues right there, because it's already one of them, instead of somebody coming from directly from outside, you know. So yeah, I think just based on what we have, I think I have enough good information, good understanding
All
of
right.
the information.
So I'm sure you can probably tell, right? This isn't an easy case. There's a lot going on here.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things to consider. There's maybe some bumps in the road they might face. And hopefully there's a nice, ending to the story. But I think that to get there, Sarah, we're going to need to talk a little bit more about it. And so I'm really looking forward to our next episode where we get to dive into some more of the details and then hear about your strategy for success in the final episode. Stay
Absolutely.
tuned.